Hello! I just want to say hello to the 5-ish fangirls. No, that's wrong. I want to say hello to the 5-ish fangirls. Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Is it? Yes, that's
Yes.
correct.
That's
Anyway,
correct.
hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. That's 5 hellos to the 5-ish fangirls. Bye.
The tangents and squee continue all the way to episode number 6 of the 5-ish Fangirls podcast. This just in! Stuff happened. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the 5-ish Fangirls podcast. Let's go around the virtual table and see who has joined us this week.
I'm Brittany from Taos.
This is Chrissy from Salt Lake City.
Michelle from Kitchener, Ontario.
And I'm Rachel from Indianapolis, Indiana. Unfortunately, Holly has been sucked into the sodding vortex and shall not be joining us this week.
But she's here in spirit.
She is here in spirit.
Yes.
And this week's show is going to be a little bit different than normal. We don't really have one specific topic to talk about, but we have a buttload of news to talk about. So
it is that time of year.
It is
San Diego Comic-Con's
yeah.
getting geared up. It's Geek Christmas, so
yes.
There's a lot of news
Yes.
going around.
Yes.
So we don't even have feedback this week, so we're just gonna jump straight into the news. Starting with, if you've been living under a rock, you don't know this, but most people probably know that Diagon Alley at Universal Studios Orlando is officially open to guests. I was looking forward to seeing the reports on social media when it opened on the 8th, and I was not disappointed. There were 4-hour waits just to get into the park, let alone ride anything or any of the shops. And then the Hallmark ride, which is Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, which, side note, very cool looking attraction, had a 150-minute wait when the park opened and climbed all the way up to 375 minutes. And if you do the math, that's about 6 hours.
Oh,
For one
crazy.
single attraction, and people were waiting at it. On the plus side, apparently, Escape from Gringotts, the queue holds a lot of people real well. So if you weren't in the queue when you're out in Diagon Alley proper, it wasn't that crowded in the shops and everything. So that was a plus there.
you probably go out and check Weasley's Wizard Wheezies
Exactly.
while you're not
Yeah.
on the Gringotts
Right.
ride.
But from what I've read and seen, it seems like even with the obnoxious waits, that most everybody seemed to be very happy to be there, even in the heat and with all those people. And it was a very enjoyable experience for everybody, which more power to them. I'm going to go next year. After the novelty is worn off.
I think it's an excellent plan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you've been thinking of going, I highly recommend going in the off season. Your feet will thank you.
So if you already have, we would love to hear reports.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed.
Yes.
Please send them our way.
We will post a link to a fellow podcaster that has been covering Diagon Alley quite well. He wasn't there on the day it opened, although I have a friend whose daughter works for Universal and was there working that day and helping with crowd control.
Oh my gosh.
And then
bless her
yeah,
soul.
and I have another friend that actually works there and as a wizard in Ollivanders. I
Nice.
don't think he was there on opening day, but I'll be interested to see his reports once he actually starts working there, because I don't think he's had his first official day since it opened yet. But yeah, so I know at least one person who was there working, and from what I heard, it was tolerable. So that's always a good thing.
Definitely.
So
Yes.
in more Harry Potter news on that exact same day, we got a nice present from J.K. Rowling, a new short, quote-unquote, short story from the Harry Potter universe on Pottermore. It was a 1,500-word story written from the pen of, and I'm going to use this term very loosely, journalist Rita Skeeter, in which Harry, Ginny, their children, Ron, Hermione, and their children, along with several other members of Dumbledore's army, were spotted at the Quidditch World Cup. This takes place several years in the future because Harry is, according to Rita, he is 33 years old and is starting to show his age, supposedly with bits of silver in his hair.
It's actually
this
year because
is it this year?
Harry Potter series took place in the 90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like set at the 2014 Quidditch World Cup.
I need a calendar because
I
need a calendar.
And there's also been she's released the second piece, which is like a piece co-written by Ginny and Rita, reporting on the final match between Brazil and Bulgaria. And Ginny was all reporting on what was happening in the match, but Rita was more focused on what was happening in the VIP box, which she didn't seem to realize that no one else was.
Yeah. Oh, Rita.
Because she was looking at all this stuff that was happening, and how dare these celebrities carry on as normal people at a Quidditch match.
And she's talking smack about Harry and the kids, and Ginny's sitting right next to her. And so Ginny, and so Ginny keeps giving her dirty looks, and I think at the end Ginny ends up hexing her or something. It's quite funny.
Yay, Ginny!
Yeah.
Yay, Ginny! Yeah, I haven't read that, but I read the other piece, and I know that there's been a little bit of backlash, people bad-mouthing J.K. Rowling for writing this because it doesn't paint Harry and Ginny and Ron and Hermione in the best light, and all I can say is it was written by Rita Skeeter. What did you expect?
Well, and it's also it's part of Pottermore, which is J.K. Rowling's kind of her post-Potter thing to let fans explore the world, and she's been adding stuff to the canon. It's just this is the most substantial thing she's done.
Yeah.
Actually in character. So most of the stuff's been like encyclopedia type stuff, like character histories and backstory and stuff like that. This is the first time it's like, this is what's going on right now in the wizarding world in 2014.
Yeah. Right.
So it's kind of neat.
Yes. Yes, it is, but just I want to strangle Rita Skeeter in the worst way.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Yes,
she's right up there with Umbridge. It's like...
Also, with that article, it confirms a lot of people's headcanon from what I've been reading, because a lot of people suspected or wanted some of the stuff that they were talking about happen. I don't know. Like with the boys being Oros but Ron leaving it.
Yeah.
People were saying that that's what
Ron becoming part of Weasley's Wizard Wheezies after working at the Ministry for so long, and so he and George are like business partners and
I remember that kind of got me a little bit emotional. Like, oh,
yeah,
I really like that.
Yeah, so read between the lines of Rita's brand of reporting, quote unquote, and just enjoy. Like, yay, everybody's happy and living their lives like normal.
Yeah.
Like I said, Royal this week, be happy that it's been 7 years since Deathly Hallows, and we're getting new stuff.
Mm-hmm. And that was the point of Pottermore, I think, was because she has so she doesn't actually have to write an actual book to give us this information, and it's just here it is online, and she still kind of gets to play around in that world a little bit. So it's a different way to do it, and I think it's a really smart way to do it and to kind of keep the franchise going. Because there's always going to be Harry Potter fans.
Oh yes. So. Well, I'm not gonna be a fan. So.
Well, yeah. It's just a good way to keep it going and to kind of keep that spirit alive. Anyway.
The boy who lives in the fandom who lives.
Yes, exactly.
Trademark me.
See in a circle.
Yep.
And on that happy note, who wants to take this next one?
Yeah, in the Harry Potter universe, we have a bit of sad news, unfortunately. Actor David, and I hate to butcher his name, Legeno, who played Fenrir Greyback, was found dead earlier this week in, of all places, Death Valley. That's very unfortunate, but that's neither here nor there. Presumably, he was out on a hike, which a lot of people do, but if you're not familiar with Death Valley, it gets its name because it is essentially just barren desert with valleys and a whole lot of nothing, and it gets extremely hot there.
It is.
It's very, very hot. And they found his body out there in Death Valley, and they think that he may have been dead for like 3 or 4 days, actually, before somebody found his body. I don't think, as of the time we recorded, there's been an official report. I'm sure once they do an autopsy and all that, we'll have more information. But apparently he leaves behind a daughter, which is quite sad. So our hearts and thoughts go out to his family and his daughter. So that's very sad to hear.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
the 10 o'clock news.
Yeah, to completely change the subject, we have more. We have more Once Upon a Time casting news.
Yes. We had a couple of casting announcements this week. Well, there's a lot of announcements this week, but Elizabeth Mitchell, who was in Lost, which I've never seen, but don't hate me for that, Keith. She's been cast as a yet unnamed character, although it has been said that she is, she is associated with the Frozen universe that they're bringing into Once Upon a Time. They're not sure who she's going to be, so it's probably, there's speculation of who she could be, and a lot of theories and wild rumors going around through fandom. So this is what this time is for, is to hear the behind the scenes tidbits and let your imagination run wild until episode 1 airs. So
yeah.
But anyway, Elizabeth Mitchell's going to be in it, and then also, I hope I say this, I never know if it's right, Giancarlo Esposito is coming back. He in season 1 he played the Magic Mirror and Sydney Glass. Magic Mirror was fairy tale persona. Sydney Glass was his Storybrooke persona. He's coming back to Once Upon a Time, and he's actually someone that Salt Lake Comic-Con announced is coming. They announced him some weeks ago. He's coming to Salt Lake Comic-Con, so that's exciting. So Sydney Glass, he's coming back. He's one of Regina's little minions, but hopefully he's a little bit better. And now that I've said that, I have another headcanon to work on, but I'll work on that later.
God, I love headcanons.
Yeah.
Aren't they fun?
Yeah.
I already have a few for what Elizabeth Mitchell's character is going to be, but these are all over the place, and mostly it's just wishful thinking on my part because of a certain backstory that I really, really, really want to see, but I don't know if it's going to happen or not. So,
excuse me.
Anyway,
in Doctor Who news, which would have been really relevant if this had broken when we recorded last week, concerning the show topic, but
came out the day after we recorded.
Of course, it's something that the guys at the Vortex know really well. The day after we record, the first 5 scripts of season 8 of Doctor Who were leaked online. They were sent by the BBC to their Latin America headquarters in Miami for translating, I'm assuming for the Latin American Spanish networks like Telemundo and all that, I'm assuming.
Well, apparently it is going to be a simulcast, at least for the first episode.
Yeah, so they need that to be translated for, I'm assuming, closed captioning and all that.
Much in the same way that the 50th anniversary was simulcast, but I'll get to that in a minute. Continue,
yes.
Rachel.
So the 5 of those scripts got leaked, and we just learned recently, within the last couple of hours today, that apparently the first episode itself has been leaked online. Granted, it is a incomplete version. It doesn't have any of the special effects or anything. It's unedited. It's not the complete episode.
The article says it's in black and white.
Yeah. So it's incomplete and supposedly
epic shots in black and white and unsuitable for broadcast and viewing.
Yeah.
They are in no way representative of the final project and will present a highly unenjoyable experience.
Okay, BBC, I got something I gotta say to you. Come closer here.
We're listening.
I know you're listening. Okay, last year, you had the simulcast of Day of the Doctor on the 50th anniversary, and there was like however many countries had it at the exact same time. Everybody watched it at the same time. It was in movie theaters. It was everywhere, and it was the biggest audience, broke world records. I know you guys had to send this out early, and there were no leaks. Nothing spoiled. What in the world happened between last year and this year? What happened to your security system? I want to know. I'm like, you pulled off the simulcast, and it went off without a hitch, and it was wonderful, and everybody had fun. I mean, and now for a regular season premiere, this happens? I'm just saying. That's all.
Yeah.
Like
what she said.
Exactly. I'm just shaking my head.
Who did you leave in charge of the key? Old Weird Harold?
A Dalek?
I don't get it. Yeah, the Dalek. It's coming to ruin all our fun.
Handles. They left Handles in charge of security.
No, Handles would actually have done something.
Well,
Handles
that's true. Until he ran out of power. Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe that's what it was. The Daleks were waiting for Handles to lose power so they could sneak in and steal the stuff.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. Anyway, I'm done ranting. that was an extended version of my tweet today.
Yeah.
I saw the news article and I tweeted back and I was just like, what in the world? What's wrong with you people? Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's I'm sure ample opportunity to spoil major stuff from the 50th, and nothing.
And nobody did.
Nothing.
It was all big surprise, and everybody had fun, and they did a good job.
Exactly.
It was fandom was holding hands and singing Kumbaya, and life was wonderful.
Right.
And I had to watch it a little later because I couldn't, for some reason, get it on the time, and I wasn't spoiled. Like I had to watch it like an hour after it came on. And I wasn't spoiled. So, and, like, I don't know. This doesn't make sense to me.
So far, although I have to say this, there was one post going around Tumblr, which there was, like, a link, and it said, here's a link to all of the Season 8 leaked scripts online. Oh, my gosh. And, like, and people were reposting it, and I'm like, well, now, why would you be reposting it? So I clicked on the link, and I was like, if it's something, I'll click off it. It was actually the Season 8 scripts from John Pertwee season 8. That was.
Nice.
And I sat there and just laughed. I was tempted to put the link on like the Traveling the Vortex Facebook page, but I was afraid that I would like get in trouble and they'd get mad at me. Like, no, you got to click the link. It's actually kind of funny.
It's kind of like a few times I posted on the group and had that GIF that says, oh, this is a prank and or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least people
have a sense of humor about these things, and I haven't seen any actual spoilers anywhere, or not even people saying, "Oh, I've read it," and not even saying anything, but saying that they've read it, and so I commend fandom in this regard at least.
Yes.
Yes.
So far, we still got 5 weeks to go.
Something like that.
Fandom with this kind of stuff is pretty good. Like, I mean, like, with the whole back when the second half of season 7 came out by accident only, no one...
About 6 weeks. I've got a countdown, and it's 5 weeks, 6 days.
Okay, so
Almost 6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay. So
about a month and a half.
So Fandom, keep being awesome.
Yes.
I got my thumbs up here for you. You can't see them, but they're there.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
In more news, the Primetime Emmy Award nominations were announced the other day, and Game of Thrones, of all things, leads the pack with 19 nominations. So if you're a Game of Thrones fan, that's quite exciting, because normally it's standard network television programming that gets all the awards. So something that's from a premium cable channel to get that many nominations is exciting in itself, along with a couple of Netflix-specific series. House of Cards and Orange is the New Black got some nominations, which is exciting in itself to see that, a TV series that isn't on TV, it's on the internet, is getting that kind of recognition. But something that's a bit more, at least to my heart, and I know a few of you as well, Sherlock got 12 nominations. It's in the apparently Sherlock, even though they are seasons, I guess because of the number of episodes and the length of the episodes, it's actually considered a television movie or miniseries. So it is in that category, but it got 12 nominations, including Outstanding Television Movie. This is specifically for the episode His Last Vow. So it got Outstanding Television Movie, Outstanding Casting for a Miniseries, Movie, or Special, Outstanding Writing for Stephen Moffat, Cinematography, Costumes, Directing, Lead Actor for Benedict Cumberbatch, which is very exciting. Music Composition, Single Camera Picture Editing, Sound Mixing, and Supporting Actor for Martin Freeman.
Sweet.
So that's very exciting for all the Sherlock fans out there.
And I think, I'm just kind of looking over the list, I think it's hilarious that because Game of Thrones is more of an ensemble cast, and Downton Abbey is the same way, is that they don't really have leading actors or actresses. Right. So all those nominations are in supporting actors and actresses. Like Lena Headey is in the supporting actress category. Peter Dinklage is in the supporting actor category. Right. And same with the Downton Abbey ones that are nominated. So it's like, because it's like, what do you do with the ensemble cast? And I'm like, you know what? Don't they have an ensemble? Or they should have an ensemble cast award. I've always thought so, but nobody listens to me, and a lot of the times the things I like don't even win or even get nominated. So
it got cool. I think that
got nominated.
Yeah, I think that the series or show award is probably the closest equivalent, because if the show as a whole gets an award, then that's a big pat on the back for everyone, including the
Although
entire
that kind
cast.
of seems like it's an overall thing, like the writing and the effects and directing and costumes and all that stuff. So I don't know.
And I'm actually gonna skip around a little here based on our notes, because I'm gonna leave all the convention news for the end, because I'm sure that's something that we're gonna talk the most about. So I'm gonna skip over this next piece of news and jump to.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we got another Hunger Games teaser trailer, which
I'm hesitating to call these actual trailers. But
right,
like
they're teasers.
Big, long tease.
Yeah, they're along the lines of what Doctor Who has been doing, where it's like 20-30 seconds, and you don't get the coming soon type that you expect from a trailer. But it's in the same vein as the first teaser. You've got President Snow in all white with PETA, and in this case not just Snow and PETA, but other folks as well. And I'm blanking on the woman.
Joanna Mason.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's her, because she's the other one that they that he had prisoner. And it's funny because in this one, they've got all these peacekeepers surrounding them. So I'm like, okay, do they have to bring in all these peacekeepers just to get Joanna into the,
probably
into the studio? Or, because this is kind of like, what was the point of that?
But President Snow is making yet another announcement to all of Panem, so along the same vein as the first one. But as he's making his talk, the broadcast gets interrupted with a fuzzy, scrambled image of blanking on the guy's name. Pete, yeah.
E.T., yeah.
Yeah, and he's making just a small announcement to the people of Panem, letting them know that the Mockingjay lives.
Yay!
So
I really like the contrast in this one because you have President Snow and it's this white, sterile, very very scripted sort of thing, and then all of a sudden BT comes in and it's dark and fuzzy, and he looks like he's broadcasting from underground. He says the Mockingjay lives, so it's like it's got that gritty look to it, and which is kind of neat seeing contrasted with the sterility of the Capitol and their message of white and purity and whatever else it is that they're selling. So I'm if this is going to be the marketing campaign for Mockingjay, I'm still way impressed.
Yes.
With what they're doing. It's really fascinating.
I'm sure we will. We're going to see both sides of the coin ramp up their efforts to get support from the people of Panem between now and when the movie itself releases later this year.
And given what's the name of the president in District 13, Rachel just made a funny, and I don't think she even knows it.
I did. I didn't mean to make it, but now that I think about it, yes, I did make a funny, and I'll take credit for that. Copyright me.
Exactly. Okay.
Rachel.
I'm just racking them up.
Yeah, she does it on purpose, people. She's great.
I do. I'm just that. I'm that good.
I'm going to go ahead and take this next one if that's okay.
Go right on ahead.
Okay, so, if you were online in the early 2000s, you may remember Homestar Runner, Strong Bad, the Brothers Chaps. Yep. Well, guess what? He was Mike Chapman is one of the duo, the brotherly duo who used to do Homestar Runner. He was on the podcast, the Jeff Rubin Show podcast, and gave an interview and talked about that they want to come back and do more Homestar Runner. And it's what is the quote in here? He says, we would routinely text each other dumb jokes for a Homestar or Strong Bad line that would probably never happen. We've been jonesing, we've been wanting to do this stuff, Matt Chapman says. And for April Fools, the brothers updated the cartoon's website intro featuring the site's old-timey cartoons and Strong Bad emails among popular features. The April Fools thing was definitely like all right, we've got the time, we're going to do it, we're going to see if anyone gives a crap anymore, and if they do, the goal will be to start making more stuff. Matt Chapman said on the podcast, hopefully on a more frequent basis. So, and I, every time something news popped up and I've noticed it, I've been all over that because I love Strong Bad emails and the Homestar stuff. Like that was what I was on this school newspaper when I was in college in 2004, and those late nights in the newspaper office, someone would boot up the Strong Bad emails when we're feeling a little punchy and trying to meet those deadlines, and we just watch them and just start laughing, and it was amazing. It was one of my favorite things, and I was really sad when it kind of tapered off. Although I know that that Matt and Mike they got jobs in the animation industry because of Strong Bad and Homestar Runner. So I was really glad to hear their success, but I miss Strong Bad, and the last April Fool's thing that they did was so funny. I had to go look it up again, and Strong Bad's commenting on all the things that have changed since they've been there in only the way Strong Bad can, and I got to go back and watch it. He's just so good. He's so funny.
Yes.
And And I so many new things have happened since they've been on, and it would be interesting to see how they update it a little bit. So I'm excited for this. I hope it happens soon. So yay Homestar, yay Strong Bad, and Woo. Strong Sad was a hoot. And I have an external hard drive. I named it the Cheat. Strong Bad's little minion. So I name all my electronics. I'm weird that way. My external hard drive is the Cheat.
I love Strong Bad.
Hey, people can name cars. We can name the technology stuff.
Yeah.
My car's name is Elsa. I named my car too.
Yeah. All cars named Bessie, but I'm the only one who thinks it's funny.
Is it yellow?
No. I didn't name it. My sister did, and I just started laughing, and she did not understand why I was laughing.
You know what? Just keep the jokes to yourself, because then you'll just be laughing and be amused, and nobody else needs to know.
Exactly.
So, in comic-related news, Boom Studios made several announcements in the past week or so about new projects, trying to ramp up excitement before San Diego Comic-Con. And in all honesty, I'm not familiar with most of what they were talking about as far as the various titles that they mentioned until the very end of the article, where they mentioned that they are going to be releasing a Fraggle Rock comic, which is very exciting. They're teaming up with the Jim Henson company to release a limited series called Fraggle Rock Journey to the Everspring, which shall be released. The first of 4 will arrive in comic shops on October 8th, and they put up a piece of art that I have no idea if that will be a cover or if that's just art that they're using to whet our appetites. Either way, it is very cool. I'm quite excited about that. You can, us children of a certain age that grew up with everything that the Henson organization ever released, where anytime something Henson related gets put out there in the public is always exciting. So, especially the Fraggles. So,
yes,
I'm not much of a comic person, but I may have to buy that. So, it's only 4 issues, so it's not going to cost you a whole lot, I don't think. So,
nope.
Oh. And then other news from the BBC, this time not spoiler related, I don't think. The BBC released an image of Sir Ian McKellen, who is one of the coolest people in the entire universe. They released an image of him as Sherlock Holmes. Apparently, Sir Ian is going to play Sherlock Holmes in, I don't know if it's a TV movie or a short series or what, but it's called Mr. Holmes. And apparently Ian McKellen is going to play a 93-year-old Sherlock living in a retirement cottage in the year 1947 and is being haunted by an unsolved case from 50 years previously.
Nice.
So, this should be very exciting. There's no word on if John Watson will make an appearance, but the article that I read, they suggested Patrick Stewart for the job, which I would be all for that.
That would be awesome.
You wouldn't really have to script it. You just have Sir Ian and Sir Patrick just in there being there.
Put them in costume, power up the cameras, and say go.
Just go for it.
It'd be gold.
Heard about this project last year, and I was just so excited because Sir Ian McKellen is one of my all-time favorite actors. And he's going to be playing Sherlock Holmes, who is one of my all-time favorite fictional characters. I was like, oh my god, this better happen soon.
Well, looks like it's happening.
Yes.
So, let's see. It's actually based on a book. Oh, I'll have to track that one down.
Yeah, I haven't read too many of the, I guess, the I don't know what they're called. But I've read the original ones, but I haven't read any of the other ones from like different authors, which I've been trying to. My library has tons of them, so I need to do that. Yeah. I think it has that one this one's based off.
They probably do. One that I really love, and I know this is going off topic, but it was nominated for a Beehive Award last year. It's called Death Cloud by Andrew Lane. It's actually Young Sherlock Holmes, but it's the only Young Sherlock Holmes series that was, how do they say it, that was endorsed by the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle estate. So, like, there have been other Young Sherlock Holmes book series written, but this is the only one that's actually endorsed by the official, which is as close to canon authenticity as you're ever going to get with Sherlock Holmes. So it was kind of interesting. The first book's called Death Cloud. Death Cloud. It's by Andrew Lane, and there's a whole series. But the first one was the one that we nominated for the Beehive Book Awards. Oh. So look it up. It's a good one. While we're on the Sherlock Holmes topic of aging him up or youthening him down. I'm like, what do you call it when they're younger? I don't know. Okay. Speaking of books and TV shows from books, MTV orders the full Shannara series. If you're not familiar with the Shannara series, in the 1980s, Terry Brooks, who's one of my favorite fantasy authors, wrote The Sword of Shannara, which was sort of it's a Lord of the Rings. I don't want to say knockoff, but it's very, very similar to Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
The little not halflings, but the regular human country folk, and they have to go and complete a quest, and there's magic and elves and dwarves and goblins.
I thought I didn't know what that was, but I just realized that I do.
Oh, okay.
At least part of it at one point.
Yeah. I've read the first 6 books, and he's written, heaven knows how many more since then.
A whole lot.
But yeah, a whole lot. So the TV adaptation, it's going to be on MTV, which I'm kind of like, oh, okay, well, whatever, MTV. So I'm a little leery about that, but this adaptation is actually going to start with the second book, which is the Elfstones of Shannara, which is very different from the Sword of Shannara. It's actually my favorite of the Shannara books that I have read. So I'm actually quite intrigued by this. And Terry Brooks actually was on his website and said, he's praised the adaptation. It says he really couldn't be happier with how it's all coming together, and I'm very much involved in the process. So I figure as long as the original author is praising it and he's involved with it, I'm going to give this one a try and see how it's going. I think they've done a pilot episode, and I guess they were impressed with it and said, yep, let's do more. It doesn't say who the cast is yet, but I'm sure that news will be forthcoming. So if you're, Game of Thrones is doing some really great stuff for the epic fantasy on TV. So I'm hoping this means we're going to get more epic fantasy television shows, because I can think of a few series that would be really good on TV if they can manage to do it. So if this is a success, it'll be great.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm excited about this too, because I'm also a fan. Unfortunately, I only have the first book. I lost the other ones that I used to have. And the first one I have, because it's like, from when it first came out, it's all beat up. I'm so sad, but I'm so excited. Even though I'm kind of like, MTV, really? That's the one that won?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe, I've heard good things about Teen Wolf, which I don't watch, but it has its fans, so maybe, I don't know. It's MTV. They're kind of offbeat, but maybe it'll be a good thing. It's kind of like how I thought the CW was, all angsty teenager overwrought drama, but now I started watching Arrow, and I'm like, dude, this is actually pretty good, and this is on the CW? Like, wow, I guess I guess you end up with a winner every once in a while. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh. Cool. In movie-related news, Slash Film just posted a interview with Karen Gillan about her role in Guardians of the Galaxy, which I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting very excited for this movie.
Yes.
Actually, this week's issue of Entertainment Weekly, the cover story is an interview with. I'm having the worst time with names tonight. Chris Pratt, who plays Peter Quill / Star-Lord in Guardians. So lots you can expect from here on out for the next few weeks. Probably more interviews and several of these stars appearing probably on talk shows. Like Letterman and all that, promoting the movie, which is very exciting. But the interview with Karen is fun. I actually learned a few things about the movie. Like, I didn't realize that the character she plays, Nebula, who I know is a bad guy, or bad gal, bad person, is a villain. But I did not realize that she is the sister of Gamora, who is the character played by Zoe Saldana, who is a good person. So
she's one of the Guardians.
She's one of the Guardians, so that should be interesting to see that dynamic play out. Because
and this whole article, this whole interview. I mean, if you've ever watched Karen Gillan give an interview, I mean, she's Karen Gillan. She's bubbly. Yes. She's really excited to be there. She's a little bit shy, and I can imagine her giving this interview. And then there's these pictures of Nebula, like being all fierce and tough and got the, I'm the bad guy look on her face. And I mean, it continues to impress me just how good of an actress Karen Gillan is. And I'm really thrilled for her to have this role in this big Marvel movie. And she talks about how she's gone from being in Doctor Who and then, what's the difference between that and being in a big time movie from a studio that's had so much success and just what she does to kind of prepare herself for that. And she's just having fun with the whole thing. And she talks about, the costume and the makeup and, shaving her head, what her thought process of that was like. And apparently it was, she and the director talked about it when she got the part, and she's like, oh yeah, totally, we'll do it. And I mean, gosh, and the fact that she is Gamora's sister, I didn't know that either till I read this, and I was like, wow, I'm really interested in this, because I don't know, I guess it's because I have 3 younger sisters. I'm kind of interested in the dynamics of sister characters in fiction, and just kind of how they get along or don't get along, and just what the stories behind all that is, because there's a backstory to it. And I'm really intrigued by it, and it kind of makes me. I mean, I wish I had more hours in the day. Go find these comics and find out what the deal is with these people, and so it's really and so go read the interview, and just. You get some interesting stuff. If you're already a Guardians of the Galaxy comics reader, it's probably nothing new. But it's Karen Gillan. We love her around here, and I'm excited to see her have success and to continue on with her career. She's amazing.
Yeah, her star is rising, and it's very exciting to see.
Karen Gillan being in this raised my level of interest. Like, it's a superhero movie, so I automatically have a certain level of interest. But because I'm not really a big Guardians of the Galaxy fan, it's just kind of, I'll go see that because it's like Marvel Phase 2 stuff. But Karen's in it, that automatically raises it way higher.
Yeah.
Because Karen. So.
Yeah.
Yep. So. Few more weeks till that comes out. So.
Yep.
Very excited.
Yes.
Less weeks than Doctor Who comes out.
Yeah.
When Doctor Who comes out. So. Yeah. It's August 1st, isn't it? Yep, I've got that written on my little stuff I need to go see this year calendar.
Oh yeah, such a huge list, not enough money to actually go see them.
That's what the Dollar Theater.
I'm actually behind on.
I don't have a Dollar Theater.
Come out. Because I still want to see X-Men Days of Future Past. Haven't seen that. I see Dawn of the Planet of the Apes at some point.
So many movies, so little time, so little money.
I know.
Yes.
So
I know. I finally.
So if if the guys on Traveling the Vortex talk about it on this week's episode, I'm gonna have to skip if I haven't seen it by then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know Keith has seen it, so I guess it depends. They tend to wait if they haven't all seen it.
Whether they talk about it depends on whether Sean and Glenn have seen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. Keith, I did see Keith praising it to the high heavens on Facebook, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I have another friend that is that goes to see movies very, very often, like a couple times a week, and he always posts reviews on Facebook, and he's always brutally honest. If he doesn't like it, he will let you know. And he loved the new Apes movie. I've never seen any of the Planet of the Apes movies.
Me neither.
I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but you know.
The only one I've seen even partially is the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
And listening to the guys talk about that one last week, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that big long dinner table conversation. That was kind of boring. I really need to watch the Charlton Heston version because my dad's a huge Charlton Heston fan, and I don't know. I feel like I ought to see it because it's one of those classic.
Yeah.
Even though I already know the ending, but
watch it and appreciate it for what it is, I guess. So yeah, I should probably do that too, and I should probably watch these two new ones at the very least for the appreciation of knowing that Andy Serkis is just brilliant when it comes to him portraying CGI characters. He's just amazing. They
need to create an Andy Serkis award.
Yeah.
Yes.
How that man has not gotten any acting awards is beyond me.
Well, it's because he's an animated character, and those don't count.
They really need to open up the description there for what they consider an actor. Then
they really do. So. They really do.
Yeah, in all honesty, my opinion, those kind of actors act more than I guess real. I don't know how to say it, but
non-motion captured people.
Yes, because they have to put more into it.
Yeah,
they have to put more into it. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah.
And they're the basis for the character that's being created in CGI. So it's like, I mean, maybe it's not acting in the traditional sense, but you gotta give them some kind of recognition at least.
Exactly.
So, I mean, if you don't want them in the main actor categories, that's fine. There's enough motion capture going on that you could create an all new category if you wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know nothing. I know next to nothing about film. I just sit and watch and go like, that looks pretty, and that looks awesome.
Yeah.
As long as the writing's good and the characters are interesting, I'm there.
You got one hand gripping the armrest, the other hand in the popcorn bucket.
Yeah, pretty much. So like when they talk about these, lists of movies you have to see before you die, and it's stuff like Citizen Kane and The Graduate and all this stuff, I'm like, that was depressing. Or whatever.
That makes a nice segue, though, into the piece of news that we skipped over earlier. Awards news. I'm assuming since this is Canadian related, this was something that Michelle is going to talk about. So.
Yep. Well, it's the Constellation Awards, Canada's annual science fiction award. And the reason I put it with the Emmys is because there's this whole thing about how Tatiana Maslany did not get a single nomination, despite playing at least half a dozen distinct characters in the series Orphan Black. But I
heard about that.
She did get an award from... She did get the lead... she did get the Best Female Performance in a 2013 science fiction television episode for Variations Under Domestication. So Orphan Black did actually pretty well with Jordan Gavaris, Felix, getting the best male performance, 2% ahead of Matt Smith in Time of the Doctor. Time of the... And Orphan Black got the best science fiction television series. And Tatiana also got the outstanding Canadian contribution to science fiction, film, or television in 2013.
And I'm looking through these nominations and who won. Man, these are some good ones. I haven't really gotten into Orphan Black. I've watched a couple episodes, but I kind of let it go by the wayside. But
yeah, I've seen the first season and the first few episodes of season 2, but yeah, that again fell by the wayside. I haven't. You need to, because I got caught up on season 1 in time for season 2, and then I was watching season 2 on Space, but I kept forgetting that it was on Saturday nights.
Saturday's just a hard time to watch unless you're watching Doctor Who and you know it's there. Yeah, remember that it's there. But yeah, I guess because I did see the promos for Orphan Black. Whenever it was like brand new, and I mean BBC America had a lot of other like original sci-fi stuff to run around Doctor Who. So I didn't think it. But some had gotten canceled or not renewed or whatever, so I didn't really pay any attention to it. Then everybody started talking about it, and this one actress plays all these different characters, and that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and they're not they're distinct. They're very distinct characters, and she plays them all it's phenomenal. Just if you haven't watched it, go watch Orphan Black. I'm telling you, go watch it.
I'll have to give it another shot. I think what my problem was, it wasn't getting to the. I didn't think it was getting to the story fast enough, but maybe I just need to have more patience with it.
Yeah, it's really
because I was like, why are all these women? Why do they all look alike? Like, what's going on? I want to know, but don't tell me because I don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah, just watch it, Chrissy. Just.
Okay.
I had it on my grandparents' DVR for me to watch, and then I moved, and I haven't been able to get onto it, so I was so mad because it sounds very interesting, something that I would enjoy, and it's just... Aww.
I think it's on Netflix, isn't it?
It probably is.
So...
It probably is, but I haven't been able to renew my
account.
iPad.
No.
Loading.
We should all put that on the to-watch list.
Yes.
Well, that's good that she got nominated because I know that the Emmys and the Emmys, they kind of have their little pet favorites.
Yeah.
Like Game of Thrones, Downton Abbey, and everything, and those are the ones that win all the time. And it kind of seems like they're hesitant to entertain anything that's kind of new or. They go with the quote,
I don't know if it's available on the American Netflix, but it's not on Canadian Netflix.
Okay. I thought it was, but I could be mistaken.
Orange is the New Black is on Netflix.
Yes.
Maybe you were thinking of that.
Maybe, I don't know. Something that starts with O and has the word black in it, I guess. Orphan Black, Orange is the New Black. One's about clones, one's about women in prison.
Well, they both have very strong female leads.
Yeah, and that's true.
Orange is the New Black did get a bunch of nominations for supporting females in a comedy series, including Laverne Cox, who is a trans woman, which is hugely progressive.
Cool.
Interesting. All right.
So let's we'll save the big elephant in the room for last and move to some Salt Lake Comic-Con news.
All right. Yes, I just sort of threw this up at the last minute because they had a big press conference for Salt Lake Comic-Con. They were having they were teasing these all week, They're having some big con announcements, and on Tuesday I was going to go to it, but then I ended up having to work. They had a press conference at the Leonardo, which is a museum in downtown Salt Lake, and they're like, if you dress up, we'll get you. If you have to cosplay and come to this press conference, you get a free multi-pass. And I was going to go, but I had to work. But anyway, at the press conference on Tuesday, July 11th, Salt Lake Comic-Con organizers announced a boatload of guests, and some that I'm quite excited about. Stephen Amell, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but there he is, from Arrow, is going to be there. And I just started watching Arrow quite recently, and I'm loving it. And so I'm excited that he's going to be there. Simon Helberg from Big Bang Theory. Wolowitz is going to be at Salt Lake Comic-Con. I'm excited. John Heder from Napoleon Dynamite's the main one, but he was also a voice in one of the first episodes of the season of Legend of Korra. So he's not really a local guy, but he went to school here, so we kind of claim him. So he's from here, so he's a big deal. Weta Workshop is coming back. They were here at the first Salt Lake Comic-Con, and I saw this was their first convention outside of San Diego. Sorry, Salt Lake Comic-Con was their first North American convention outside of San Diego. That they brought their whole big display of all the stuff they did for The Hobbit. It was amazing, and I'm so glad they got him back again. Manu Bennett is coming. He's also in Arrow, but he's also in The Hobbit. He was here last year as well. So, and then we also have John Barrowman. He was announced earlier, so they're going to do a big Arrow panel, I'm sure. Eliza Dushku's coming, and there were a lot more, some that I was not familiar with. And then also, and this is a big deal since this is a fairly new convention, Marvel Comics and Dark Horse Comics were announced as official sponsors of the convention, which, I mean, I don't know how often comic book companies like Marvel and Dark Horse sponsor cons, and I don't know all the ins and outs, but I don't know. I'm just so excited and so proud of my local convention for being so awesome and doing so well and having all this success. And they also announced. I can announce this because next month is where I work. The Salt Lake County Library is doing ToshoCon, which is our little anime convention for teens. And Salt Lake Comic-Con actually agreed to advertise our little convention on their Facebook page for free because it's a nonprofit thing. So we're gonna have it's a 2-day thing. I'm in charge of the video games and viewing rooms for this little. And we're not a big deal, but so I'm mentally preparing myself for all these teens that are be coming to our little convention, and it's gonna, if it's anything like last year, it's just gonna be so much fun and a lot of kids coming. So if you're in the Salt Lake area and you know a teen who's into anime or even not into anime, we've got other stuff going on. Come to ToshoCon and have a good time. It's going to be Friday and Saturday, August 1st and 2nd, and it'll be fun. Anyway, sorry. I had money
and I could pretend I was a teen. I could go get it.
I'd get you in as a volunteer. How about that?
Woo, I like that.
It's like, I need Brittany to come help me run the projector.
That sounds like fun. I remember seeing you posting pictures last year, and I was like, ooh. Yep.
Oh, and well, yesterday, I know I'm tangenting again. Yesterday, one of my librarian colleagues, she actually ran a Doctor Who party it's supposed to be for teens and adults, but mostly teens showed up. And I went to it yesterday, and I dressed up in my 5th Doctor Fem 5 costume, which I put pictures of it up before. And there was another guy who works at that same library in the circulation department, and he was dressed up as sort of an off-brand 11th Doctor. And it was like 90 degrees outside. And like I had my sweater and my coat, and he was wearing a waistcoat and a jacket, and and he was like, "Oh my gosh, it's so hot!" And some of the kids who cosplayed, they were taking off their coats and stuff, and everything. And I just left my coat and sweater on, and this guy that I work with, he looked at me and was like, "You must be dying." I'm like, I didn't say anything. And he's like, "I can't believe it. You've got to be dying in that." I'm like, "Oh, I'm dying in this." But it was so.
That's why I'm glad that the Metrotron Convention Center is nicely air conditioned, because I will be cosplaying the 11th Doctor at Fan Expo Can in August, and he's got like the pants and the shirt and the jacket.
Yeah, so. I think I'm gonna wear my Fem 5 again at Salt Lake Comic Con on the day I get to go, and it's early September, which is still pretty warm, but the convention center I think is pretty well air conditioned. Although with all those bodies roaming around, it gets pretty soupy in there. So
because I cosplayed Romana 2 previously at Fan Expo Canada, and I've been fine as that, and that's all long pants and a jacket and a coat.
Yeah.
Like that's got quite a few layers and long sleeves and
we need characters who wear shorts or something.
Amy wears short skirts.
Yeah.
That's true.
You need to cosplay as the 6th Doctor in the 2 Doctors when he loses the coat and he's got the shirts rolled up.
Or I could do Planet of Fire with 5th Doctor.
Yes, I was just about to say that. The
Planet
5th Doctor in Planet of Fire.
Because all I would need is just a gourmy looking vest, and I've got the rest of it. I wouldn't need the sweater.
Just don't cosplay as Turlo in Planet of Fire.
Oh dear.
Or Perry.
Or Perry.
I'm not say Perry.
I don't know if they let me in. And not just because, it's a bikini. I don't think anyone wants to see that. They don't want to see me in a Perry outfit. I'm sorry. Nicola Bryant can pull it off. I cannot.
No, yeah, same here.
Yeah. If you don't know what we're talking about, Google it.
Yeah.
Especially the Turlo.
Oh, Turlo.
I'm sure there's a Planet of Shorts video on YouTube somewhere. Look up that.
Yeah.
That's the ribbons the year I went to Galley. It was the Planet of Short Shorts.
Nice.
I think I still have. Well, I know I have my ribbons still somewhere. Anyway.
Oh, bye. So, and last but certainly not least, the as Chrissy was saying, Geekdom Fandom Christmas is coming. San Diego Comic-Con, and we've got panel announcements out the yin-yang. Way too many to mention, but we will touch upon some of the stuff that we're most excited about. And
I just found another one for us.
I'm watching our notes
it kind of dovetails into these others that we're talking about anyway, so it's okay. Can I talk about the Once Upon a Time stuff?
Oh, yes.
Okay, because there was some new news that came out today, and I am thrilled beyond reason for this, but let me start from the top. Okay, so earlier in the week, I found it was San Diego Comic-Con, quote-unquote, complete TV panels. These were panels about TV shows, and they had a list of them. And I was a little bit distraught because this list did not include Once Upon a Time, even though I know that the cast and production team had talked about it on Twitter. And then I found another post with the actual tweets talking about Comic-Con. Okay, come on, internet, go. Okay, so Colin O'Donoghue, who plays Hook, he tweeted, like, so who's going to Comic-Con? And Lana Parrilla came out and asked Yvette Nicole Brown, who was from Community, said, oh, you're moderating our panel at Comic-Con. So this is how all this news came out. And then finally Adam Horowitz came out and said, oh, yeah, we are doing a Comic-Con panel, and Yvette Nicole Brown is moderating. And then later, ABC came out with a press release about all their Comic-Con stuff, and they included, they had a Once Upon a Time panel, Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Resurrection, Marvel's Agent Carter, and Toy Story That Time Forgot. That was all these lists of who was going to be on those panels and things. And I'm going to let Rachel talk about the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one in a minute, but I'll get through the Once Upon a Time stuff, because I'm just like bouncing up and down because I'm excited about this. So this is who's going to be on the Once Upon a Time panel. So, like I said, Yvette Nicole Brown is going to be the moderator, and I guess she provided a voice last season in Once Upon a Time, which I didn't know about that, but that's great. Co-creators and executive producers, Eddie Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, along with Jennifer Morrison, Robert Carlyle, Lana Parrilla, Josh Dallas, Emily DeRobin, Colin O'Donoghue, and Jared Gilmore. And then they're also they'll have the moderated Q&A panel, and then they're going to have a signing. And then during the signing, there's another panel that's going to be going on. It's the TV Guide magazine Fan Favorites All-Star panel. And this is who's going to be, moderated by senior writer Damian Holbrook. I don't know who that is, but if you know, good for you. They're going to be, Fan Favorites brings together stars from TV's hottest shows for a lively discussion filled with behind-the-scenes scoop. Panelists, subject to change, include Misha Collins from Supernatural, Sam Hewan from Outlander, which hasn't started, but it's going to be a big deal, and my darling Colin O'Donoghue from Once Upon a Time. He's going to be on that panel, and Aisha Tyler from Archer. Now, I am so excited for Colin because, he plays Captain Hook, and Captain Hook is totally my favorite character in the show. I cannot tell you just how thrilled I am that he's going to be at this Fan Favorites panel, because it's you actually have to be invited to be on this panel, I guess is how it works. And, the first little bit of the season, I felt like they were not really using Captain Hook very much, and I was really sad about that, because I was like, I want him to be a regular, and, well, he is a regular, but I wanted them to do more, and I didn't feel like they were doing enough with him. And then later in the season, they just had this whole big story arc going, and I think they're going to keep it going, and oh my gosh, and Colin is just such a fantastic actor, and I'm so impressed and so excited that he's on this panel. So anyway, I'm going to sit here and just fangirl squee over him, because he's fantastic and lovely and wonderful. And I'm happy. I'm sitting here with this big cheesy grin on my face. So anyway, that's the Once Upon a Time stuff, and I'm sure that there'll be some cool behind the scenes background stuff going on, and I will be anxiously awaiting this. So, over to you, Rachel.
Yeah. I posted this original announcement on the page and made a comment about how on our convention episode that we did a few episodes ago, that I said that I would never go to San Diego Comic-Con because of the sheer hugeness of it, but then they made this announcement about the Marvel television panels, and I was like, if I had money and money, I would go in a heartbeat to this, because this is super exciting. Yes. They are going.
I'm sure there'll be video clips of it.
Oh online. Yes, there's a Friday, the 25th. There is the Marvel Television Presents panel, which will be moderated by Jeff Loeb, the Marvel head of television, and is going to include executive producers of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., including Jed Whedon, who we all know is brother of Joss Whedon, along with pretty much the main cast of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Clark Gregg, Ming-Na Wen, Brent Dalton, Chloe Bennett, Ian D. Castecker? He's Fitz. Yeah, and Elizabeth Henstridge, who plays Simmons.
I love Fitzsimmons.
Yeah, Fitzsimmons. So we're going to have Coulson, Agent May, Grant Ward, Skye, and Fitzsimmons on this panel. They're going to be doing that panel. And then they're also going to have a Marvel's Agent Carter panel with the executive producers from that, and star Haley Atwell, who you should remember from the Captain America movies. So they're going to have Q&A panels for both of those shows, plus autograph sessions for both of those as well. And apparently on Marvel's website, marvel.com, if you can't make it to San Diego, they will be doing a live blog during these panels, so you can get the news as it breaks, at least to a point. So I will be doing that. I guarantee. But I am a huge fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I was very excited when they announced Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I have been watching it religiously. I know a lot of people panned it and gave up on it really early because they didn't think it was holding up the way they thought it would, but it got me from the beginning, and I knew that it would only get better with time, and it did not disappoint. So,
it did fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited for this, and to get some teasers for season 2, which will help tide me over until season 2 starts in the fall.
The whole time, because I have work on the Friday and Saturday. I'm going to be sitting there refreshing Twitter and Tumblr the whole day, just looking for new stuff, because there's just so much that comes out of San Diego Comic-Con, and it's, oh my gosh, I mean, there's so many people. I mean, they put a lot of stuff online, and like you said, they had the live blog, and so it kind of feels like you're there, at least in the fact of, you're getting the new stuff. I mean, you don't really get the atmosphere of it, obviously, being at home, but you still kind of feel like you get a piece of it, and which I really appreciate. And I mean, I don't know if I would ever be able to go to San Diego Comic-Con and just even function, because
living vicariously through social media.
Yeah,
which is how I've done
very much so.
Pretty much.
Call it TwitterCon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, because I was looking, somebody had the complete panels for just Thursday listed, and I was just kind of flipping through it, and it was just big wall of text of all these different panels, and there were things like, I would like to go to that, but it's just it's like sensory overload. Like, what do you do? Like, how do you decide? And and then there's stuff going in the like I'll stick to my little bitty Salt Lake Comic-Con, my little local one, because then I can sleep in my own bed.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I know somebody that's going, and as they were announcing the panels, and he was all like, well, I know I want to go to this, and this, and this, but this is going on at the same time as this, and it's like, I can't be in 2 places at the same time, and it's like,
I need a time turner.
Exactly.
Chrissy, get out of my head.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just have to say that.
This is what Potter fans think. Come on.
Yeah. Or TARDIS.
Or the TARDIS. Yes, we need a TARDIS and a time turner.
I think you'd be more accurate with the time turner, probably.
Well, yeah, that's true.
As opposed to the TARDIS.
Well, I would be okay with the TARDIS if the Doctors are flying it.
Well, that's true.
If Ripper Song's flying it, we're good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
No.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are lots of other panels that we just didn't pick up on that are going on. I'm sure DC will have a thing, and Star Wars, and
that. And on that note, of all the things we know we probably will see and hear from San Diego Comic-Con, one thing we won't get is any teasers, tidbits, anything from Star Wars Episode 7. Star Wars will have a presence, but Disney and Lucasfilm have said, with Star Wars Episode 7, this is a direct quote, creators deep in production in anticipation of the film's December 18th, 2015 release, Lucasfilm will not be featuring the movie at San Diego Comic-Con. So.
Well, they've got one more San Diego. They've got one more Comic-Con before it's
That's
released.
true. You got New York in the fall, so.
Well,
and next year San Diego.
Yeah, next year San Diego.
And next year San Diego.
2015. So that's probably a wise move, because like, what is there to show?
Well,
Harrison Ford breaking his leg.
Yeah, and the thing is you mentioned that, and San Diego Comic-Con, I'm assuming, will take place about the same time next year, but not long after that in August is Disney will be having their semi-annual fan expo D23, and
that's right.
I would imagine they may hold off on San Diego Comic-Con next year to do that kind of stuff at D23. That way Disney has complete control over it because it'll be at their convention. I could be wrong, but I would hazard
do like a scaled down version, and then at D23 they do the big "Wah, here we are" thing.
Yeah, because you know, in the past, they hold the D23 Expo every other year. And I know at the very first one they had made the announcement that they were making a new Pirates of the Caribbean. They were making the fourth Pirates movie. And they did that with Johnny Depp in the full, you know, Captain Jack Sparrow regalia. He appeared on the stage, and that was their way of announcing it. And then a couple of years ago, they did a preview for the Avengers and had the entire cast show up and surprise everybody. You know, Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel L. Jackson and all that. So I would imagine there's probably going to be something Star Wars next year with the cast, or at least some of the cast, I would assume. So, barring any more accidents on set and having them to put production on hold for any longer. So Harrison Ford can keep himself in one piece. I think we'll be okay. So, but Star Wars will have a presence at San Diego Comic-Con because that would just be ridiculous for, you know, something like that to not have any presence whatsoever. Apparently a lot of their focus is going to be on Star Wars Rebels, which is going to be a new series that is, I believe, a sequel to the Clone Wars. Well, I guess not a sequel to the Clone Wars, but it's all in the same vein as the Clone Wars. It's an animated series that fits within the Star Wars universe. I'm not entirely sure where this fits in the storyline, because the Clone Wars takes place between episodes 2 and 3. So I'm not quite sure where this takes place, but that's supposed to start airing on Disney XD this fall, so that's going to be their focus for the most part at San Diego Comic-Con this year. So,
well, what's the name Rebels? I'm assuming it's probably going to be within, like, maybe around episodes 4 and 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Maybe the stuff that was happening away from Luke, Han, and Leia, and there's, like, you know, the regular little rebel people.
Yeah.
The little red shirts that were off getting shot by somebody.
Yeah.
It wasn't stormtroopers, because they can't shoot for nothing.
Yeah.
Have you seen that picture, though, of a stormtrooper and a red shirt getting in a fight? Stormtrooper misses, but the red shirt dies anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I just saw I've seen it like many times, but it was on Facebook today, so I thought it was kind of funny.
That's funny.
There was another one that was like, it was an Ewok paper target with all the blaster holes around the Ewok, but not at the Ewok, and the stormtrooper's just like, man, I still can't hit it.
Oh, that's funny. So, and I think we have one more piece of news. As we mentioned previously, that there will be no official Doctor Who presence at San Diego Comic-Con this year, but in celebration of the new Doctor Who comics coming out, Titan Comics has proclaimed Saturday, July 26th, Doctor Who Day, or Doctor Who Comic Day, and we'll be having a event, I guess, off campus, as it were, of San Diego Comic-Con. So, at the Kamikaze Comics Store on Claremont Mesa Boulevard. So I know that
as part of the events that are taking place all across, where was U.S., Canada, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. So
yeah,
it's going to be part of that offsite offsite event at San Diego Comic-Con on the Saturday.
Yeah. So yeah, I've seen several comic book places, make announcements that they're planning on holding Celebration. I know here in Indianapolis, Who North America, which is a shop here, that they're the folks responsible for mostly responsible for getting Sylvester McCoy at PopCon this year. They have their store isn't normally open. They open it up to the public once a month, but they're having a second open house on the 26th in celebration of these comics being released. So that's the celebration going on here. And of course, I can't make it because I have to go to a wedding. So, but I haven't read any of the comics really, so I don't know if I'm I don't know if these are in the same. I'm assuming that they're their own story as opposed to what they released for the 50th last year, but it's
because IDW, they had their own thing going, and now because IDW doesn't have the rights anymore, and Titan Comics does. So Titan Comics sounds like they're kind of doing their own little spin-off thing, and you kind of fit it into continuity as you can with the comics, basically. But so they're doing 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctor adventures, and 10th and 11th they have a new companion for each one, and
they're being released on July 23rd, so just ahead of this Doctor Who Comics Day.
Okay.
Cool. And then the 12th Doctor will be in October.
As after the series.
So after the new season.
Yeah. It's been going on. So yeah. And then also I know I've heard this, but I can't remember where I've heard this, and I don't have a link for it. But BBC America, I think, will have like a booth or something at Comic-Con. Yeah. So it's not like Doctor Who isn't going to be there completely. There's just no panel with the cast and whoever. So I mean, they're still going to have an exhibitor booth, and they'll be promoting stuff, but there's not going to be an actual panel because they're going to wait and do all that in the big Whirlwind Worldwide Tour in August. So anyway, that's what's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and
a lot of news.
We'll have a lot when San Diego Comic-Con kicks off.
Oh yeah,
too,
we're going to be like super busy that week.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be awesome. So we're getting everybody excited, getting ready for it, and it's going to be great. It's like pulling up a dump truck to all the new stuff. Like, just load me up. I want to see it all, and I want to know what's going on. Just new trailers, new everything, new. Oh, and also I should have found a link for this one, but Legend of Korra is going to have a panel there as well. So I'm sure there'll be new stuff. Which the new season is going quite well. I'm enjoying it. It's actually, as much as I enjoyed last season, this one's even better, which I didn't think was possible. But it's more understated, I think, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And anyway, I didn't get the link for this one. But there's a panel that I'm really excited about to hear news about. It's the Sleepy Hollow one because I'm a fan of the show. And
yay!
Which, if that's another one, if you haven't watched, I really do suggest. Because it's not your typical Sleepy Hollow story that we all know.
Yeah, I was watching that, but that's another one that I kind of got too...
There are only so many hours in the day.
Yes.
That's what I need a time turner for.
It's the story of my life. I was watching that, but then I got busy with other stuff.
And then I'm trying to catch up with Big Finish. And then I'm trying to read all this other stuff. And then I was watching the other stuff. And then I got too busy to watch that because I was busy with other stuff. And so on and so on and so on. There's so much I need to get caught up on. It's ridiculous.
It's like what Glenn was saying.
And I'm going back and watching shows from like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like what Glenn was saying with Big Finish. Everyone just needs to stop for a year.
Stop adding to the catalog and you get caught up.
Yeah. Here and give me time to get caught up on what you've done, and then choose.
Exactly.
But then I still want to see new stuff.
Yeah. Like we need to find a way to exist without having to shower, or eat, or sleep, or have to work, and we'd be golden.
If I didn't have to work, I could do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Sadly, I have to work.
Yeah.
Because I have to pay the rent. But anyway. So. Okay, and then there's one more little bit of news, but this is kind of more on a little bit of on a personal note.
Yep.
We gotta say a big time congratulations to the boys of Traveling the Vortex on their nomination for, I believe it's a Parsec Award. Anyone remember what the category was? It was like
best single fandom, I think, or something like that.
Or best fan derivative podcast. Sorry guys, we're really bad at this.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Let's see.
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah.
But we remember.
Yeah, sorry, but it's like, and because I looked at the list and they're against some big podcast names.
Well, I know Verity is that they're up against Verity and Radio Free Scaro.
Yeah.
And Radio Free Scar's been on for like a long, long time. And like I've listened to all of them.
Category. Nominees. There you are. Come back. And the nominees are. It's not telling me. So, okay.
This shows how prepared we are.
Yeah, this was sort of a last minute.
Yeah.
No, that's fiction.
We would have been more prepared if we could have remembered what the name of the award was in the first place, so we could have Googled it faster.
Yeah, we could have. But they don't even have the nominee. They don't have the nominees up, which is weird. But
it was. At least it was when the guys first mentioned it. I guess the way it works is, so I guess somebody nominated them, but then they got notified of the nomination, and they had to submit certain stuff to actually make sure that they qualify properly. Properly qualify. So that they had to do that, and they had to dot all their I's and cross all their T's before they could become official nominees. I read the steps and all that, and it seems awfully complicated. So gold star to them for just for doing that.
Specific. It's fan news specific.
Yes.
Oh, fan news specific. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm on the page and I found the nominees, and fan news specific. So.
Oh, we'll put a link to the. I can't even find the nominees, so good job, Michelle, for finding that.
Well, if you go to, if you're on the Parsec Awards page, right?
Yep.
So go to 2014 Parsec Awards. There's a drop-down category.
Okay.
Click on nominees.
See, I did that and it didn't come up.
It may take a second to load.
It's
okay.
For it to load for me, so just wait for it to load, and then once it's done,
I have no patience for this kind of stuff.
The bottom.
Okay. All right. Well, it'll load. Trust us. There it is. The nominees are.
There's a lot of nominees in that category too. So.
Yeah.
And
Fan news specific. Traveling the Vortex. Oh my gosh,
there are nominated in that category. It's a Star Trek podcast I listen to.
Cool. Yeah.
That is really cool. I guess, so good job, guys.
They're nominated, and I don't know if there's a way to vote. Or...
I'm sure if there is, they'll tell us, and we'll just stuff the ballot box for them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I guess the once they do the voting, that the awards themselves are going to be awarded at Dragon Con. So I guess sometime between now and Dragon Con, voting will occur. So good for them. That's very exciting.
Yes.
So.
Well, it says
and we'll be
June 2nd nominations end, June 15th sample submissions due.
Right.
Yep. So I guess they had to submit a sample of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yep. And boys will be proud to say we knew you when.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you're big time award winners.
Yes.
But no, that is really cool, and we're really thrilled for them and proud of them, and it's very, very well deserved. So good job, guys.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I think that's all we've got for this week. Heaven knows that was enough. I think so.
I think so. We got in some good discussion about just the news, sort of thing. We'll have a topic next week if we don't get swamped again with Comic-Con announcements. I mean, heaven knows what we're going to be like the week of Comic-Con.
Oh dear!
Wow. We're going to just have to take turns and just go around and say, this happened, and squee, I'm falling on the floor from excitement.
And
pretty much,
like we said earlier with the Harry Potter, if anyone of our wonderful listeners has the chance to go to San Diego, please report and send us all a bunch of stuff if you can.
Yes.
And we will sit here and stew in our jealousy.
Yes.
You're in the same zip code as some of our favorite people.
Yes.
Yes. It's like, I'm like 2 states away, and it's like, ah.
So am I, but I'm still not going.
Yeah, same. Like, I'd be lucky if I can get to the convention that's in my state.
And see, I actually live in the same city, so I don't even have that excuse.
I live like about an hour from where the thing is. I just don't have the money. I don't think I'm gonna have the money.
Yeah, that's kind of a key component of it.
A little bit. For some reason we people announce these things and we're like, yes, sign me up, and they're like, that'll be insert dollar amount here, and they're like, oh,
that's why I volunteer.
Yeah.
I want to see if I can sign up to volunteer, but if I've never been to a convention, can I even do that? I don't know. Probably shouldn't be too hard.
Possibly, you can look into it.
You should.
Yeah.
Well,
I would.
You can look in to see if the convention has a place, like a form that you can fill out to volunteer.
We're still doing say no. No.
Yeah.
Well, because the thing is, I went to the Fan Expo, I paid for a ticket, I went, blah, blah, blah. And then I heard the guys talking about volunteering at their local cons, and I'm like, that is a really good idea. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and do that. And so that I volunteered, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I should.
Now so now this is my 2nd year in a row volunteering.
So I take it you've had a generally positive experience doing this, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it again.
It's great. Plus, my first shift on the first shift was on the Thursday afternoon, and I was scheduled actually before the convention started. So the leader of my section was like, "Yeah, you don't have to actually do anything until the convention starts, so you can just go wander around, see stuff."
And that's one of the best things you can do.
Make sure to be back in time for the start of the convention.
That sounds like a good thing to me.
I got to on the show floor, get the lay of the land before the huge crowds of people arrive.
Yeah.
Before
at that
point,
point,
humanity.
at that point, you're like the VIP, like the ones who paid the extra to get in early kind of thing. Those were, and the volunteers and vendors and stuff, those were the only ones there. So it was like a lot smaller, so I could wander around, see the layout of the show, kind of thing. So yeah, that was great.
That would be a good idea.
That's a good, because
being like, what's the word I'm looking for? Reconnaissance kind of thing is great if you can do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, because I don't even, like, I mean, I would love to get, like, autographs and souvenirs, but even if I couldn't, if I could just be in the same building as actors that I love, I would just...
Breathing the same air.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like at FanX this past April, I saw Karen Gillan at her table. I mean, I had to see her wade through this big crowd of people, and there was no way I was getting anywhere close to her. But dude, I saw Karen Gillan. I was within, I was in the same building as her,
Mm-hmm.
in the same room even. Mm-hmm.
All I need to just know that if I'm in the same building, it's like,
yep.
I'd be like,
I know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, all right. Well, maybe we gotta
I think it's
close up shop here. If anybody wants to send in feedback, you can go to our website at the 5ishfangirls.blogspot.com and fill out our contact form.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's 5ishfangirlspodcast.blogspot.com. Let me get that right so you can actually figure out where we're going. and leave us comments, leave us emails. We love to read feedback. You can tweet us at 5ishfangirls. Tumblr is 5ishfangirls as well. Facebook is the same, 5ishfangirls. And our email is 5ishfangirls@gmail.com. So please send us in feedback. We love to hear from you. We love to hear that people are listening and enjoying. And if we missed some bit of news, or if you've got something at San Diego Comic-Con that you're excited about, let us know, and we'll mention it. If not here, at least on our Facebook page. That's where we kind of put all of our news articles that we're like, I don't know how this is going to work, but it might be fun anyway. And, you can comment there and let us know what you think. And definitely if you're going to any of these conventions or any of this, please let us know and send us pictures or your report of what's going on. We'd love to hear it. So we love to know we have fans.
yes.
So let's with that, I think we'll sign off for tonight.
All right. This is Brittany. This is Brittany saying good night from Charles.
This is Chrissy saying good night from Salt Lake City.
Michelle saying good night from Kitchener, Ontario.
And this is Rachel from Indianapolis. Good night, everybody. You have been listening to the 5-ish Fangirls podcast. Any and all movies, books, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by their respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied.